It's an away day, isn't it, for the Aussie in many ways.
Play. Hitting love.
Did actually win the doubles, didn't he, in Australia at the start of the year with Jason Kubler. What a great story. Hadn't played before, ever, together when they go and win the Australian Open. How does that work, Jimmy?
You're talking to a guy that doesn't know how you win in doubles, so I can't, almost can't answer that question. I do know if you're a college tennis player, however, you play doubles, quite a bit of it.
Yeah, good shout.
That obviously is going to be a play for Tiafoe that he uses from time to time. He normally handles it a lot better than what you just saw, because that second serve didn't have that much on it. It was 87 miles an hour. It did get into the body. But he likes to smash and crash a few times on second serves. Nervous start from both players. They've hit some odd-looking shots in the first 4 points.
It's a very classy volley. The Australian gets off to a good start.
First game.
I always ask people this question because it fascinates me in terms of breaking the top 100, Jimmy. Do you think it's harder to break the top 100 than it is to actually stay there? I mean, we see a lot of players who kind of... Chris Eubank's been a great example. Now, I know he had some big wins in terms of putting points on the board, but it feels like a lot of players kind of, that 100 mark is such a barrier in their mind. Do you know what I mean? And they get there
and then they're there. Yes,
yeah.
You're right, it is, because one of the reasons is challenger level is almost the same as tour level. So you have to dominate the challenger level to get to top 100.
Yeah.
So once you've dominated that
Frances
level,
Tiafoe.
you're probably ready to play and probably be closer to top 50. Having said that, there are some players that do well in challengers that don't have a huge game, but they're just so solid that they can get the points. And those players tend to have their run in challengers, get the ranking up, lose all of their tour matches, drop back down to the challengers, have to reclimb. There's a few players that do that as well.
Sure.
Very nervous start for Tiafoe here. He's looking at the draw, possibly, and saying, I'm supposed to make the semis again. He hasn't hit a forehand on the strings yet. He's shaking his head, looking over at his player box, saying, what is going on? There's a look at his coach, Wayne Ferreira. Jordi Arcanata next to him, who goes with him everywhere.
Brett Waltz, isn't it? On the far left, I think, who does a lot of the physical work as well. Been with quite a few American players as Brett. Just on the far left, there he is in the blue. Certainly got a higher profile now than he had 12 months ago, hasn't he?
No question. He's a showman, and he likes the limelight, and he likes celebrities, and he's perfect for becoming a top player.
Yeah. He's Frances Gauff.
That was a second serve sitting beautifully for Hijikata. 86 miles an hour right in the slot for a crushed forehand. Hijikata just, he's also not quite comfortable yet.
A good dig. Tiafoe, despite a stuttering start, is on the board.
Good dig, and also I like what Hijikata did here. He saw that Tiafoe was in a little bit of trouble. He came running in. It forced Tiafoe to hit a beautiful, aggressive low slice from that awkward position. He managed to do it, but percentages with Hijikata when he hits that shot and runs in.
Yeah, he's not outmatched in terms of pure forehand speed. We had a look at numbers. They're pretty similar, really, in terms of forehand topspin speed.
Similar speed in miles per hour, but a difference in the number of rotations. Much more spin, as that's a look at Mark Draper, who is Rinky's coach.
He's also got Tripp Phillips in his box as Hijikata. As the assistant, excuse me, the associate head coach is his actual title. There he is.
With the all the North Carolina gear on. Easy to spot. Played a bit of doubles on the tour. You get a sense of Hijikata. The reason he's having some success is the courts here are medium fast, from what most players are telling me. A little bit slower here in Armstrong and in Ash. Those are the two slowest courts. But Hijikata doesn't let you breathe. He's got a little bit of old school to him. Serve and volley some. If he hits a good shot, he comes running in. You're always under a little duress on these quicker courts. He doesn't have a big serve, but on these courts, a little slice and it stays low, and he's able to take control of a lot of these points.
Let's be honest, there aren't too many Aussies who aren't that comfortable with this sort of play, are there?
They are, I mean, they were known always for the volleys. So yeah, I'm trying to think back. Are there any Aussies that can't volley? I don't remember. Leighton Hewitt volleyed fine, but I don't remember him
to volley a whole lot.
come in that much.
Again, Hijikata.
Could hold that for love 30.
Hijikata leads by 2 games to 1. First set.
Tiafoe serving 1-2.
15 love.
Interested to actually look at the first serve points won through 3 rounds. Because if you look at Tiafoe's numbers, they're excellent. Only Fritz and Isner had actually won more first serve points won through 3 rounds. So get some good pop out of it. Obviously, a lot depends on who you're playing as well.
That ball person didn't seem to be that impressed with the first serve. Snatched it beautifully.
Love.
At least 4 mishit forehands from Tiafoe early in this match. There was another one sitting for Hijikata.
He's being rushed though, isn't he, Jimmy, as well?
Yeah, beautiful return from inside. He's not allowing Tiafoe just to spin a very safe second serve in yet. And the problem for Tiafoe is he's only made 33% of his first serve so far. If you're Hijikata, the way Tiafoe's playing early on, you got to take advantage of the spotty start.
And he forced him into a defensive first volley, and he was able to pick him off thereafter.
Biggest serve of the match so far. 136-mile-an-hour serve. Wasn't even placed that well, but it was just pure pace that got the better of Hijikata that time.
Tiafoe did well. Just got enough pace on the pass.
Got enough pace on the pass with a continental or backhand grip. That was somewhat impressive. Is that kick second serve is getting attacked. Hijikata took it early, came in, but a beautiful little flick.
Yes, that was old school stuff. Actually left North Carolina a couple of years ago, as we just remind you to go to usopen.org if you haven't already. Stay connected on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. It's all there. Go and have a look.
Hijikata has not lost a second serve point yet. He's winning the rallies early on.
This is his father, Franklin.
Sorry.
Hijikata's not allowing Tiafoe to hit an indifferent shot. That was an indifferent return on a second serve. It wasn't horrible, but a little bit short, and Hijikata just, that's not good enough. Roasts it in the corner. Takes the next one just behind the service line. Clean winner. He's been pretty impressive early on.
Very much so. Too many backhands on the tour that are as flat as this guy's. And that enables him to get the ball through the court.
Just his second winner. And his first from the back of the court. He hit an ace, was his other winner. 7 winners for Hijikata. Just looks a little uncertain, doesn't he, at the moment? He's definitely a little nervy. Finds himself behind on serve in the playing more aggressively to this point.
There might be some Tar Heel fans out there that are in that line. Sam Gore, our good friend, will be well into this one. He's a big Tar Heel, isn't he?
He is.
Wait, please. Love team.
Hijikata, if he's going to win this match, needs to win this set. He's been the better player by a substantial amount to this point, as Tiafoe has been playing very nervously, not making first serves. Rhythm's completely off on his first serve, missing forehands.
He has come to really go after that second serve, hasn't he?
And Tiafoe's yet to try to be aggressive with one of the second serves either. He's consistently just hitting a kicker, and Hijikata's taking it well inside the baseline and attacking off of it. He's going to have to go body. He's going to have to speed up a couple of those second serves. Hijikata takes a look at his player box because he knows that that was a very fortunate forehand from Tiafoe. He wasn't trying to hit an incredible angle, but that's exactly what happened.
got a bit of heat attached to it. Not quite in the Ben Shelton League, but not many are.
No, I don't think anyone is at this tournament so far.
No, 149.
More than once.
Let's first service.
This would be a fortunate hold for Tiafoe. Love 30 down. A little bit of a lucky forehand angle that he came up with. One bad return from Hijikata.
Nicely done.
3 games on, first set.
Been able to win on all 3 surfaces. Not too many players out there have been able to do that, of course, by winning earlier in the year in Houston on the clay. He won in Stuttgart on the grass. With Tiafoe added to that title in Delray a few years ago, so he has pretty good company up there, showing his versatility. It was a tough week in Houston this year, wasn't it? Goodness me, it didn't stop raining.
And he was the one player that, from start to finish, played beautifully. Didn't really struggle in any of his matches, little in the final. That love 30 point on Tiafoe's serve in the last game, where it was a great return from Hijikata, and Tiafoe got a little fortunate with the flick angle. Hijikata hasn't won a point since, and he's made a couple of errors. That's where the players all slide nowadays. That was an opportunity for Tiafoe to get the crowd going, hit on the dead run winner, get rid of some of these nerves that he has, but again, he overcooked it. It's funny because most players, they have new shoes. They wouldn't be playing with the one that has holes in them.
Yep.
Hijikata, challenger player. You saw Tiafoe came out and he lined up about 10 pairs of shoes getting ready to go. Hijikata has glue, string, trying to hold his together.
Let's first service.
$284,000 for making this round, so he could go out and buy a pair of shoes, I would think.
Yeah, that's a massive paycheck when you look at his career prize money as well. And of course, he did add substantially to that by winning the doubles earlier in the year in Australia. But his career prize money coming into this week, $944,000 total.
Finally, a point with some good length from Tiafoe. The entire rally, it was only 3 shots that he had to hit, but all 3 had good length. Hijikata wasn't able to attack and come forward, start pushing Tiafoe around. So his team is telling him right now, Hijikata is looking a little anxious, knowing he should be at least up a break. The way Tiafoe has played to this point.
the line from there, wasn't it?
And that he'd also get away. Tiafoe normally gets there pretty comfortably. He'll hit a cross-court forehand, a safe cross-court forehand, and regain control.
Juice. Hijikata.
You like the service motion of this guy, Jimmy? It's pretty fluid.
It's okay. It could get a little bit snappier up at the top with the hand, with the wrist. Only 5'10".
It's a pretty good rotation, isn't he? With his
He gets
upper
good.
body.
He does.
Another shaky forehand from the American. Given a wild card here, he made the quarters. Nothing will ever top Gauff though, will it?
No, but another guy. Those are players that were out of the game for a little bit of time, but obviously had that ability to make a long run. It's a little different to find a Rinky Hijikata that gets a wild card, not ranked high enough because he hasn't had results.
30 left.
Yeah, that's still got to be one of the greatest days in Grand Slam men's history, isn't it? Gauff beating Rafter that day. I went back and watched it, actually, the last couple of games the other day. Was unbelievable.
Was that the last time they played Wimbledon on the faster grass?
Possibly, yeah. Certainly at that time, wasn't it? Things changed.
Finally, Tiafoe got the serve rhythm going in that game. Comfortable hold, first serves aplenty. Let's see if he can now find the forehand.
First set.
He's hitting his forehand, Tiafoe, in this match about 2 miles an hour slower on average than he had throughout the tournament. And he's making errors. He needs one rally that's so good, and he comes up with a great shot, and the crowd erupts, gets that little bit of a rush. But for the most part, that's what's happening.
15 left.
No real fireworks so far, are there, from this guy?
No, normally he's a showstopper with some of the things he can come up with. Yeah, that's the story so far, the unforced errors. I know Hijikata has more, but he's been more aggressive. At least he's going for shots when he's making errors. Tiafoe looks like he's just trying to hit the ball in.
Yeah.
15-13.
It's amazing the things that show up when you're nervous. One of them, when you're in an uncomfortable position. That was going to be a difficult pass. But it would normally, if he was relaxed, it's not hitting the fence.
Yep.
He's missing by good distances when he's under duress. The touch isn't what it normally is. He's normally a player with tremendous feel. Great hands Tiafoe normally has. And yet, the first break point on the set is Tiafoe's.
Just turn the volume dial up a little bit here. Sensing a moment for their man.
I mean, from what I've seen, I think I'd serve to the forehand here if I was Hijikata. Just test it one more time. He didn't listen.
Been the longest rally of the match so far, and it was cagey.
There was a mid-court forehand in the middle of that rally. Tiafoe could have gotten a little more aggressive with. He didn't, but perhaps a 25-shot rally will help Tiafoe find that rhythm. He got into a long rally. He didn't miss-hit a forehand.
There to be hit, and he didn't hesitate.
It's just the second ground stroke winner that he's hit, and that was the first time where he got a short ball and he stepped up. He didn't just try to put it in play.
Thank you. Please. Thank you.
Extracts the mistake, and Tiafoe does find a way to break. At the sharp end of set number one, it's 5-4.
Tiafoe wins by 5 games to 4, first sets. 15.
Coming into this serving for the set, he was at 41% for serve percentage. He had only hit 2 winners. Had made 9 unforced errors. His opponent's winning 67% of his second serve points. Those are numbers that normally you lose a set.
Yeah.
But the 25-shot rally that Tiafoe didn't end up winning seems to have lifted his cobwebs. He hit his second backhand winner the next point, got the break of serve, and now 2 points away from stealing the first set.
Let's for service.
It's got to be a little strange for Tiafoe to come into a round of 16 at a major and be the overwhelming favorite.
14.
It looked like it affected him to start.
Yeah, without doubt. And as you say, playing someone he's never played before. This is a new territory in that regard. That was a comprehensive game. Wraps up set number 1
6 games different
for the world number 10. And grabs it 6-4. He seems to play his best tennis at the majors. It's nice, isn't it?
It's
Second
where you
set.
make your reputation. It's the way to go. You've seen some other players. The #1 American, Taylor Fritz, really hasn't had much success in the majors. The second serve from Hijikata is attackable. Tiafoe hasn't done it much because he's been so uptight. Let's see if he starts the second set aggressively. He did.
15.
It's a nasty backhand, isn't it? Because it's flat, goes through the court, it stays low on you, doesn't it? You're often having to hit up on the ball.
It's an excellent backhand. That's the one thing. Hijikata, to me, has played a little too much to the backhand. That's the first forehand from Tiafoe, so he's starting to feel it, and that's going to be very tough now for Hijikata to figure out, what am I going to do now? He was given a lot of points and a lot of short balls to work with in that first set. He might not get quite as many in this set. Yeah, I was thinking he might want to serve and volley a little, and that's what he did. Just throw that in. Not easy to do against Tiafoe. His backhand return will get to your feet most of the time.
Touching.
What a chase. And Hijikata perhaps guilty of just not expecting the extra ball to come back here.
Not only did it come back, but it happened to get in an uncomfortable depth as well. Hijikata took a diagonally backwards angle to it.
Turning up the heat and beginning to express himself here.
Yeah, all of a sudden the passing shots that weren't finding the court are right at the toes of Hijikata, then he came in showed beautiful touch on the drop volley. It's all starting to flow for Big Foe.
I see what you did there, Jimmy.
I didn't mean to. It just sort of came.
We liked it. I was trying to think earlier on how many sort of American males have made the sort of impact in the States that Frances has. I mean, are we talking a guy like Roddick here? I mean, no disrespect to John Isner and these guys that, of course, were great players, but I don't think, again, in my opinion, please correct me if I'm wrong, but there's been an American male that's quite kind of moved the needle.
Well, in a long time. You're right. John McEnroe, Jimmy Connors era.
Of course.
But Agassi, obviously.
Yeah. Did Roddick have the same kind of...
I think Roddick did.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And maybe nobody since.
Yeah, exactly. Just a guy that would kind of, you put the TV on for, and not necessarily a tennis fan, if that makes sense. Got to be good for the game, isn't it?
Oh, I have first-hand knowledge of my son-in-law played college football, American football. Never watched a tennis match. I got him tickets to last year's semifinal, Tiafoe Alcaraz. Came out of that match saying tennis is my favorite sport now.
That's
to watch cool. Because that match was unbelievable. Two guys that are just such shot makers, so athletic, so much energy. Tiafoe's done a pretty good job when he gets first serve in.
Yeah, goes back to what we were saying earlier on, doesn't it?
Zero forehand winners in the first set. And all of a sudden, Tiafoe's winners are starting to fly off of his racket.
Yeah, you look at the first serve points won by season on all surfaces. 77 this year, 74 last year, 72 the year before. It's been a significant uptick in that part of his game.
Tiafoe but 2 games to love. Second set.
And I think it's partly the serve and partly what he backs the serve up with. He's not making the kind of unforced errors that he used to sometimes go through a stretch in a match where he's lost the plot. That's happening less and less. And I would say that's the biggest danger now in this match for Tiafoe, in that he's got all the momentum. He's cruising along. Crowd's into it. He's got to keep the focus enough to just keep his foot down and finish this in straights. Yeah, or Hijikata's going to have to do a lot more of that, which is work his way to the net. He does volley beautifully. And this was not an easy volley he just came up with. Really nice hands from Hijikata that time. Good return. Deep. And just a little pickup. Redirect.
that look easy, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Big ranking jump last year. Look where he started last year in terms of his ranking. It was 360 last year at the start of it, ended up at 150. So a lot of matches in the second tier. And stops the bleeding for now, at least. For
Tiafoe
Rinky
leads by 2 games to
Hijikata,
1.
who's down a
Second
set.
set, and by 1 set to love.
So setting the break for the world number 10 here. He's got a win here today to keep himself in the top 10 because he's defending those semi-final points. In fact, you look at the live rankings. Right now he is 13th in the live rankings. Tommy Paul lost today above him. Dominor is actually closing in the top 10.
Casper Ruud has dropped all the way to 9th.
Yeah.
In the live. And Zverev at 10, still in the tournament.
Yeah.
30 love.
And with nothing to defend all year.
Yeah.
High level match last night that was, between him and Dimitrov for a couple of sets. Sets 3 and 4 were one-way traffic, but
brutal section of the draw. Zverev is in. He's got Sinner to play Alcaraz.
It's tough, to put it mildly.
A little tougher than Tiafoe's draw of Hijikata to play Shelton.
Tiafoe leads by 3 games to 1. Second set.
As we always say, you can only beat who's in front of you. USOpen.org. Have a look there. Some good shopping to be had there as well. If you go to USOpenshop.org, great merchandise. Once again, it's been a good tournament for a lot of ex-college players. There's been quite a few in the draw. Actually saw something this morning. First time in 40 years that the NCAA men's and women's singles champion made it to the last 16. Wow. Peyton Stearns, of course, and the female NCAA champion. Ben Shelton, of course, having won the NCAAs not this year, but a couple of years ago.
15-14.
That was one of those serves I was talking about where there was just no snap at all. Absolute collapse with the upper body. Good by the coach.
Things beginning to get away from him. Double break it is. Well, nervy start, but it's looking a long way off right now as he's got control of this match now.
15.
Yeah, what a difference, sort of that breakthrough in the first set. A little bit of help from Hijikata in the 9th game when he served a poor game, really handed the break to Tiafoe. Tiafoe, at that point in the match, was serving in the 30% first serve percentage. He's at 70% now in this set. And winning every first serve point. He's still a little upset. You see Tiafoe gets another mishit forehand. That was what was happening in the start of the match. It's coming out of nowhere.
30.
Surprised that serve was only 129 when he hit it. It felt like it deserved in the 130s, his 10th ace.
There's been a big shift in his intention, isn't there? I mean, you go back 2-3 years, and I know players evolve, but he used to kind of 70% rolling in a lot of the time, didn't he?
Don't think he had a ton of confidence with his second serve, and I think that's partly the reason he'd roll it in. Didn't want to face too many second serves. I think he's improved that, and that's allowed him to free up the more aggressive mindset for first serve. Kind of one of 3 college players in the 4th round. The other qualifier, Goyo.
Yeah, Wake Forest, of course, he was at.
The other one is Ben Shelton, who you mentioned, who's waiting for the winner of this match. He's beyond the 4th round. He's in the quarterfinals now.
Nice. Yeah, he's got 2 last 8 club memberships already.
Yeah, he does.
He just started playing majors. Good get to have that.
I don't know if he'll ever get the Roland Garros one. Don't see Clay as his favorite service. Although Wimbledon, you'd think he'd lefty monster serve would be tough.
Yeah, of course, the last 8 club is a club, especially for those singles players that make the last 8. Is it last 4 in doubles at the majors, or what is it? Yeah. So you've got to make that as a player, then you get basically you get kind of invited back for life, really.
Yeah, badge and tickets.
Nice.
Yeah. Such a nice combination that Tiafoe has of movement. He can defend, good hands, and he can bring power. His return is excellent. There's a reason he's ranked top 10.
Yep.
Took him a while to put it all together. And he's still, I think there's room for him to keep going.
Totally dominated this second set. Hijikata's actually only won 11 points in all. And he is got a couple of set points to grab a 2-set lead. Looks like a step too far for the Australian, who's had a fine week. But he needs a minor miracle to find a way back into this one.
Frances Tiafoe.
Final major of the year, of course. And players are going to have to come ready in week 2 because conditions are going to be rough out there, especially for those playing during the day.
Third set, Tiafoe to serve.
The long delay didn't seem to bother Tiafoe's serve. Starts with an ace. His 12th.
You're just looking actually at potentially, of course, where the matches will take place in terms of night and day. I mean, this section, let's say Fritz gets through and plays Djokovic. That, to me, smacks of a night session match, doesn't it, in a couple of days? So you would have thought that Hijikata, excuse me, Tiafoe Shelton would be day. Maybe in a couple of might favour Shelton a bit quicker during the day, or am I just kind of...
No, you're right. If Shelton has a chance, it's the day will give him a better.
Yeah.
First game.
26 points on the first serve today. In fact, he's only lost in the whole match 9 points on serve.
I know, it's amazing. Incredible. The one advantage maybe for Tiafoe, I don't believe Shelton has played in Ash. And obviously the quarterfinal. Oh, and he played today. Sorry, that's okay. And he played chess fine. He actually enjoys. You can see that Shelton sort of feeds on the energy as well.
Big stage player.
We didn't see much of this in the first set, where it was attacking Frances Tiafoe. Didn't many winners, but he's now fully relaxed, looking to come forward. Hijikata's second serve has become very vulnerable. And remember how Tiafoe first set couldn't really find the court on a passing shot. You feel as though you got to be fairly pinpoint accurate. He was not. And he's starting to be. Yesterday in one of the matches, we had a spectator grab the ball and taking credit. Then we replayed it.
Yeah.
They didn't catch it.
Okay.
It went through the stands, and he was just the first guy to get to it.
Yeah. I think we can safely say that that was a clean catch from that lady, I reckon.
You gotta believe it was, but
unless she's a bluffing.
Yeah, I wanna see it.
Ball, wasn't it?
15-14.
Picking him off at will right now.
Yeah, he is. There's just not that top line power from Hijikata, really. Serve, his fastest serve has only been 119. So Tiafoe knows he's in every point. To me is the best player for Hijikata. Just serve volley, keep the points reasonably short. Preferably serve some to the forehand of Tiafoe. There you go. He is a beautiful volleyer, Hijikata.
Yeah. Actually going to be 9 Australians in the top 100 next week when the new rankings come out. There's a big group of them now, of the men. Purcell's had a good summer, isn't he?
A great summer.
Kokonakis, of course, still there in the top 100. Jordan Thompson.
Have they lost Kyrgios already?
Yeah, he's out of there. He's at 130, I think, live or something like that. Hopefully he's going to be back soon, but no signs of that.
Interesting when you see the court position change from the first set to this set. Hijikata in the first set was the guy up on the baseline, dictating. Tiafoe unsure of himself, defending. And now that entire rally, even when Tiafoe floated a chip, it was still Hijikata back.
That's a shocker. Absolute shocker. I'm getting chopped as it is. I don't need that happening.
What happened there?
Advantage, Tiafoe.
Ah, just being told they turned the lights on mid-rally.
That is a shocker. Almost feels though that should be a let.
Yeah.
That's a bit surprising. His comment was, I'm getting chopped as it is. I don't need to add to the misery. So it's another break chance for Tiafoe. And you got to think Hijikata will serve volley. He didn't. Came up with a decent first serve to the forehand.
Juice.
Sort of interesting because I do like serving to Tiafoe's forehand more than the backhand, but when you serve and volley, it's difficult to serve and volley and hit a serve tee. You don't have anywhere to go with the volley.
Sure.
deuce court. He had court mix up. Serve and volley occasionally to the backhand.
Hijikata.
Serve and stay back when you go to the forehand. Hijikata's putting together a nice little strategy here so far in this service game once he got behind 15-40.
Actually turning on the lights actually seemed to kind of give him a little bit of an injection of anger, didn't it? Fire.
1 game on, third set.
Whatever it takes. Look at that. What a grand stage this really is. Barely a seat to be had on the Louis Armstrong.
Beautiful forehand set up. The drop shot. Drop shot was a little deeper than Tiafoe would like to make it. But one of the other things that's always impressed me with Tiafoe is his anticipation. When he's up at the net, he was there. He knew where Hijikata was going with the backhand.
Wait, please.
Good and easy with that grip where it is to get underneath that ball when it's that low.
15-0.
Hijikata flipped the switch.
15-13.
Down 1-love, 15-40. Serve and volley twice. Won both those points, saved the break chances. And now recognizing he's not going to win from the back of the court any longer, he has gone full attack mode, and he's gotten pressure on Tiafoe's serve for the first time in a long time. Second serve was awfully close.
30.
He was almost 100 miles an hour that second deal.
He had to go a little bigger. He knew Hijikata was looking to come forward.
14-13.
So a little bit of difficulty, but it's Frances Tiafoe. Keeps it rolling here on Louis Armstrong. 2 sets and 2-1. Aussie being just a little outclassed out here so far.
I'm interested to see if he can continue creating a little pressure with serve and volley. He's got to remember what got him out of the last service game, because if he decides to just stay back and rally, it's not working any longer. Tiafoe's got too many weapons.
How much upside you see in this game. He's going to go to 80 in the world, Jimmy. I know you've not seen tons of him play, but from the evidence of this, where's he going from here, do you think, rest of the year? Or where might he be ranked in a year from now, potentially? Or
I mean, he's getting close to being right. 50 in the world, something along those lines. It's a bit of a confidence thing at this level. Awesome stuff. He will have to mix in serve and volley, because the reason I cap his height is you need free points on your serve in today's game to really be able to create some damage, and he just doesn't have that kind of weapon on the serve.
Yep.
But he is a great volleyer, so if he fuses at least once or twice a game that play, that will be his best chance.
13-15.
We saw Max Purcell serve and volley a fair bit this summer with good success, and he doesn't have a massive first deal. It's not too dissimilar, is he?
No. This is a little less than Hijikata does.
Good, nice backhand, isn't it?
Yes.
Purcell as well. He's done with the challenges for a while, I would have thought.
Yes, I think he might be done for good. I think he's very good, Purcell.
So it keeps things at parity in this third set.
2 games on, third set.
Some beginning to set. Taylor Fritz to still to come on here against Dominic Stricker. USOpen.org is a place to go to keep you up to date with everything that's been going on around the grounds. All the highlights on there, your stats, draws, juniors, of course, starting this weekend. Doubles.
Let's for service.
It's a bit of a disparity, 15-0 in the ace department.
American just rolling through his service games. Celebrated his birthday actually a couple of days ago, did Andy? Turned 41.
Always a good feeling when you hit a forehand and the crowd in unison.
Love.
Whoa. And he hit a couple of nice ones there and elicited that response. Again, Hijikata doesn't want to be in baseline rallies right now with Tiafoe. You've got to throw in serve and volley if you want to have a chance.
Love touching.
A little too confident there with that one.
He definitely did. There was a nice, comfortable approach to the backhand and make Hijikata hit a running passing shot rather than the spectacular inside-out drop shot attempt.
Trying to cling on here, the Australian. Clever. It wasn't easy. That ball's coming at him. It was tucking him up. Seems composed, doesn't he, up there?
He is so comfortable at the net. Hijikata, again, he's not winning from the baseline. He does have a ton of success serving and volleying so far. You got to stick with what's winning if you're Hijikata.
That's a big strike. Just tucked him up.
40-30.
Still, actually, we talk about his time at North Carolina. He's still actually studying for a business degree. Keeping himself busy off the court. Spent 2 years, of course, at college, so he studies away from the
Hijikata has volleyed beautifully. That was the first overhead I remember, and I don't know if he lost it in the air, but that was about as poor an effort as you'll see.
Did he have the legs? Just wonder if the legs as well were just burning a little. He's been forced to do quite a bit of chasing, hasn't he? Hasn't played this many matches, really, this intensity either, when you consider this kind of short period of time in his career. So this is all new ground. Those sorts of shots, isn't it? When you look at him, you think, yeah, you're just trying to find a shortcut in a situation like that. Outpowered at times. And now he's in more trouble.
Fourth break point of this set.
Tiafoe grabs the break in the third.
By 4 games to 2.
It's almost there. Just to go back to Ben Shelton, just actually seen something. He is the first NCAA singles champion to reach the US Open quarters. I'm talking about the men's side since McEnroe in 1990.
That seems incredible. Simply because back in those days, in the 80s, 70s, 80s, it was NCAA champions were ready for the tour already. They were top 50 in the world almost.
Yep.
As you get a look at Hijikata not going away. An unforced error from Frances on the first point, a beautiful pass, and all of a sudden a little bit of pressure on a Tiafoe serve. He has not faced a break point.
And the only other NCAA champion incidentally to make the quarters was Tim Mayle. Did so in '89. This is a game against the grain. It's taken him a while to garner these sorts of opportunities, but here he is with 3 break points.
For service.
Remember that one if Tiafoe gets out of this service game. Above 40-second serve, routine kicker. Hijikata with a bad error that time. And Tiafoe, before this game, had lost 2 first serve points in the entire match. He's lost 2 in this game.
That was a little bit of a gift. And it kind of came out of nowhere, really, and you can see his frustration. Popularity of this event just continues to grow. Hijikata with a bit of a lifeline. Can he build on it? What a strike that is.
Yeah, the great strike was the forehand when he was being pressured and he got the ball right up on the baseline. This one, he's in trouble here, but that ball turned the point around.
Was a good junior, of course, was Hijikata, who was top 10 in the world in juniors. There was some pedigree in those early days. Doesn't always translate though, does it, as we know?
Not always. Depends what style you play to get there.
a lot of juniors as well that do a lot of winning, and they're sort of top 10 in the world. They have to get accustomed to losing pretty quickly, don't they, in the senior game?
You do start losing when you start playing, no question about it. And also in the junior game, if you play enough tournaments, you can almost, you can't buy top 10, but you can buy a pretty high ranking because they take just your best 6. Play 35 tournaments, you're bound to have 6 decent ones.
Sure.
Can't make those kind of errors, Hijikata, at this point. Tiafoe had a little letdown, a little got ahead of himself, started thinking, I've got this match wrapped up, played a very loose service game out of nowhere for the first time in this match. You've got to make Tiafoe pay by at least forcing him to hit winners to get the break back. That was just a rally ball error from Hijikata, and it's given Tiafoe another pressure moment on the Hijikata serve.
It's a fourth double, first of the set. And once again, he's in a position of peril here. Two break points.
He's hit that shot nicely a couple of times. Good deep cross-court return from Tiafoe. Hijikata is able to pick it up right off the ground, go down the line with it. Feels low percentage, but he's done it pretty well a couple of times.
Yeah, speaks to how well he times the ball, doesn't
it? Still think he should serve volley here. Yeah, tough to do if you keep missing first serves.
Yeah, for the match, he's now bang on 50% first serves. Just too much on the approach. And Hijikata was forced into error.
Tiafoe leads by 5 games to 3, third set.
American will try and seal the deal here.
Gets to serve for the match with new balls just to make it even less likely that Hijikata is able to get out of this game. And also the fact that Tiafoe just played the one loose service game the game before. You got to believe he's all business here. Starts with 134 mile-an-hour serve.
This to be Tiafoe Shelton. It will be a first meeting between the two Americans on tour. Oh, that is magnificent from the Australian.
That really was. Beautiful hands from Hijikata here, running diagonally backwards and able to drop it in a very uncomfortable spot for Tiafoe. Didn't think this was even remotely a chance. Hijikata again with pressure. Had not had a break point until his last service game.
He's taking it to him.
Yeah. He's come out this game inside the baseline, just roasting ground strokes, flat, hard, deep.
15-14.
Tiafoe in trouble at 15-40.
This is a case of attack being the best form of defense, isn't it?
Let's for service.
Would you believe it? The 25-year-old not able to get over the line just yet. Hijikata breaks once more.
Third set. And by
Extends this one a little longer. Finish the job.
Ready for play. Thank you.
Doesn't want to get involved in a dogfight here. There's a high quality return. Hijikata just not quite hitting his spot. In terms of the angle, you can see didn't have to move a whole lot to produce the return. Fine one as it was. Feel, Jimmy, don't you, that Hijikata's got to look at that serve down the line. It's got to get better.
That's going to be the key to whether he gets to 50 in the world or 20 or 30. He does have a nice all-around game, good feel, moves well. Just serve isn't good enough, and Tiafoe's exploiting that as this match wears on. The thing is, if you're serving in the low 100s, which is where he's normally serving, you have to be able to do two things: hit your spots, but also your percentage needs to be 75%, something along those lines. It's at 50%, and he's not always hitting his spots.
Yeah, that's not an ideal recipe, is it?
No.
And didn't he do well?
That is a good lesson for any junior. When someone comes to net, you don't have to hit a clean winner. If you can dump it cross-court low, it is tough for the volleyer to come up with much.
Thank you.
2 match points for Frances Tiafoe.
Let's second service.
It's wide. And it's victory for Frances Tiafoe once again in New York.
6-1, 6-4.
The American makes a return to the last 8. And sets up an All-American quarterfinal with Ben Shelton in a couple of days from now.